Hi, I'm going to read the story, Who Was George Washington Carver? Written by Jim Gelody. I think that's how you say his name. I'm reading the intro, not chapter 1, the intro. There is an intro. And who was George Washington Carver? Mrs. Bainham looked out her garden, but she didn't like what she saw. Mrs. Bainham lived in the biggest house in Diamond Grove, Missouri, in the mid-1870s. Inside the house, everything was in order. Pretty paintings and nice furniture, but outside, in the garden, her roses weren't blooming. Why not, she wondered. Her friend Susan Carver's roses were blooming. Her roses were big and beautiful and bright red. Mrs. Carver lived in a nearby farm. Mrs. Bainham went over and asked what her secret was to growing such perfect flowers. It's our George, Mrs. Carver said. He's the one who knows about roses. George was the 10-year-old boy who lived with Mrs. Carver. She was his foster mom. Mrs. Carver had been taking care of George since he was a baby, and George had been taking care of Mrs. Carver's plants and flowers. Actually, George helped out around the farm in many ways. He loved Mrs. Carver as if she were his own mother. He would have done just about anything she asked. But he was especially happy when she asked him to help with her garden. So George went over to Mrs. Bainham's house to take a look at her roses. He knew right away what was wrong. Her roses needed to be moved to a different part of the garden where they could get more sun. He moved the plants and soon they were in full bloom. Word spread quickly, and young George started helping many of Mrs. Carver's friends with their plants and flowers. One week, a neighbor needed help with her lilies. Another week, a friend asked for help with her begonias. George always seemed to know how to fix whatever problem there was. Soon, he became known as the plant doctor. George never lost that helpful spirit, nor his love for plants and the best way to grow them. He was George Washington Carver, and he used his passion for nature to become one of the most famous and helpful scientists in the world.